Howdy, folks. Welcome back to another episode of RNP What's Sold. This is for the second week of March 2021. Combination of eBay, I believe some Amazon, and Bonanza. I don't really talk about that much, but I should. So let's get started. First, starting off on eBay, we've got some polo shirts. These are North Face polo shirts, two going to the same person. And these went for $27 and change here. This is including tax and shipping. Two polo shirts. These have been sitting in my inventory forever, so I was happy to let them go. I took a cut rate price for these, and they're both going to the same person, so I'm happy to see those go. Okay, moving on. I pick up anything soccer related. I'm a big fan. And these, anything to do with the Brazilian soccer team, national team, actually pretty much any national team, but Brazil in particular is extremely popular. This is a Nike Authentic Brazil jersey. Sold for $33.81, including tax and shipping. Picked it up about a week ago for $2.99, and I was happy to see it go. I took a best offer on this one, but I was happy to see it go really fast. You know, I'm happy to see things move fast. And pick up anything jersey related, soccer related. Just be careful about, just the same way as you're careful with football jerseys, basketball jerseys, be careful about authenticity, check the stitching, and if you're not sure, do some research online. Next up, I've got a Man-O-War t-shirt. This is vintage. I'm not sure, to be honest, if this was 100% vintage or not. It looked like it was based on the tag and the stitching. So I listed it as vintage. It sold after about 6 months for $44.26. I had about $4 into it, so I'm happy to see this one go. I do really well with concert t-shirts, musician-related t-shirts, and the such. Okay, next up, this is a jacket I've had in my inventory for, I want to say 2.5 years, extremely long time. I thought it would sell for a lot more than it did. It sold for $29.65, including tax and shipping. I probably would have taken half of that at this point. I was just so happy to see it go. It's a satin jacket, has the Coke, Can't Beat the Feeling logo written on it. And like I said, I thought it would go for a lot more. It didn't. That happens sometimes. Oh, well, happy to see it go. Next up is a Hard Rock Cafe t-shirt. This is from New York, and it's for the Year of the Dragon. Nice logo. I only picked this up a few weeks ago with actually a few others. Went for $40.19, including tax and shipping. And I like anything vintage with, you know, the city spelled out on there. This one, Hard Rock Cafe New York. It's probably going to be something that people are looking for. Other things like other restaurants, other, Planet Hollywood is another one that comes to mind because you don't really see them as much anymore. I'm not even sure if Planet Hollywood's around anymore. So pick those up if you see them. Happy to see that one go for $40.19, relatively quick sale. Next up is Bonanza. I don't talk about it enough. I should, because it's super simple to list on. You basically import everything from eBay over there. And this was a Play School, it says Play School Play Tiles Table Easel learning toy. And it sold for $50.44, including tax and shipping. And I was happy to see this one go because I only had about $1.99 into it. The box was beaten up and it was missing some pieces. It was a used item, but it only sat for about 6 months, which is pretty decent for Play School stuff. I sell a lot of Play School stuff, but it does sit. And it takes the right buyer. So make sure if you're going to pick up anything to do with vintage, say Fisher Price, Play School, that kind of stuff, it sells for good money, but it will sit. It's not an everyday sale. All right, moving on back to eBay. This was a plate, serving plate, oval style. It says Bunny Portugal tray. It was a Bordala Pinheiro. Excuse me if I'm butchering that. It's actually part of a set, which I didn't know about till after I purchased it. So this is just a plate. I believe it comes with other plates and other parts as well. It was in good shape, but like I said, if I had known this was just part of a set, I probably wouldn't have picked it up. Picked this up about 18 months ago. $29.95 was the sale price, including tax and shipping. And I had, I believe, $3.99 into this. And I've had multiple offers on this one that just fell through. I didn't pay, or a lot of questions. I just didn't sell. So, anyways, this is the theme of today. Happy to see this one go. Okay, next up, cards. This is a loose lot of Yu-Gi-Oh cards, 100 or so cards from 1996, sold for $37.99, including tax and shipping. And these ones I've had for, I'm not exactly sure how long, to be honest. But I pick up cards a lot, especially if I can get them on the cheap, and not necessarily just sports cards. Like this one is kind of a fantasy game type thing. It's not similar to Pokemon, I guess. I'm not an expert with cards by any shape of the at all, but I like to pick them up if they're dirt cheap. This one was about $1, and it was like rubber banded together at Goodwill. So I picked it up. I figured $1 I could probably get 10, 20. Got $37.99, including tax and shipping. So that's cool with me. All right, next up, this is something I pick up from time to time if it's cheap. These are little figurines, little ornaments. They are porcelain. It was 2 Norcrest bunny rabbit figurines. It says hand decorated. It has a little logo sticker on the bottom of them too. It was a set of 2. I picked these up for $4.99, excuse me, for the 2 of them about 4 months ago. Sold for $27.55. They're pretty small. I'd say about 1.5 inches tall or wide each, and very light to ship. So they went first class. But I don't pick up as many ornaments and figurines as I should. I should get back into that. But especially around Christmas time, these would have gone great. I'm surprised they didn't go earlier. Okay, so next up, I've got a vintage Lando Calrissian of Star Wars fame. This is a 1980 Kenner figure. Sold for $37.56, including tax and shipping. I've sold the same figure just a month or 2 ago for the same exact price, and that one had like the accessories with it. I believe it was complete. So don't discount, especially vintage figures, just because they're not 100% complete, because they may not be as easy to get a hold of. So this one sold for $37.56. And that was cool because I had this entire lot, and I had about, I don't know, 30 figures, was about $35. And I'm still selling more from that. I still have some more to sell. All right, moving on. This is a nearly vintage action figure. It's an April O'Neil Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I put vintage in the title. I'm stretching it there because it's from 2003, so I'm actually off by 2 years. But it was new in package. And this one I've had probably for about 18 months or so. I think I had 3 of these. Not the same, not April O'Neil, but 3 from the same line. This one sold for $54.22, including tax and shipping. It's going overseas, so I think $20 of that is going just to shipping alone. And moving on next, I've got 3 Patagonia shirts. Total cost on this was, let me see here, $75. And these ones, the person sent me a message saying, would you combine shipping? So basically, I had calculated, I think I had calculated first class shipping on these. It would have been about $5.98 a piece for the shipping. These ones ended up going priority mail, priority flat rate. So it cost me about just under $8 to ship them. So I had no problem with combining shipping because, I've got 3 sales in one. Okay, next up, this is from that lot, and you might have seen in my previous videos, I have a giant lot of about 50 or 60 or so, maybe more even, of these Disney figurines. A lot of these ones, and a lot of them were from Bullyland, which I believe is a German, I don't know if it's a German Disney park or just a German Disney store. So either way, these are vintage and really, really small, about 2.5 inches. I've sold multiples of these. I sold a Donald Duck last time, and I sold a Roger Rabbit one also. So this one went for $25.97. I have less than $1 into this. The entire lot was like $30. And to be honest, I don't think I counted every piece in there. It could be 70 or 80 of these, actually. I should go back and count. I can figure that out for the next video. Okay, moving on. I always like to keep a box of heads in my garage, like I like to joke about. In all seriousness, these are 1/6 scale, so these are action figure heads or head sculpts. This is an Asian male head sculpt. Went for $39.38, including tax and shipping. And just make sure you use terms like 1/6 scale or head sculpt or action figure head or for action figure, something like that. And these sit, to be honest, they don't always go for this much. Sometimes they go for $5, $10. Sometimes they go for 10 times that, depending on how articulated the figure head is. So this one was a so-so figure. Usually the ones that go for a lot of money, just so you know, are usually celebrities or from movies or famous people that you would know. Like there's a lot of Johnny Depp ones going around and so forth. Okay, next up, another t-shirt. This is a Bayou Classic Southern University versus Grambling University vintage shirt from 1999. 3XL, big, thick shirt. I've had this one for over a year. Got it for $2.99 at the thrift. Sold for $59.47, including tax and shipping. So this was a good sale. I was happy with this. I pick up any of these vintage sporting type shirts. A lot of them like Super Bowl ones, playoff ones. They could be a lot of college football ones, college baseball, college basketball. And you never know. They sit for a while, but when they go, that one person that maybe went to that game is looking for them. So pick them up if you can get them for like a dollar or two. Okay, this one I put an Instagram post out there about. I may have even put a TikTok video out there about this one, funny enough. Lalaloopsy Mini Storm Ease Camper Playset. It wasn't 100% complete, but it still sold for $36.15. Picked this up about a week ago. I believe it was $4.99, and I was really pleasantly surprised to see this go pretty fast. And like I said, it was not complete, but it was more complete than some of the used ones that were listed there. If it was complete or if it was packaged, it could have gone for upwards of $50, so maybe even more. Okay, next up, another t-shirt. This is the logo says The Mountain on it, and it's kind of a big, thick brown logo. It's a vintage t-shirt. Kate, I'm going to butcher this, Dowadziak. It's called the Ferry the Mountain, I believe is the actual tagline or the design artist used for this picture, with the title of the picture, I should say, excuse me. Sold for $85.23, and I was surprised by this. I listed this high because I saw similar t-shirts by the same artist from the same brand selling for over $100, so I figured I'd go a little bit lower than that. I took an offer for $80, and including tax and shipping, it went for $85.23. So I was really happy with this sale. Had it for about a year. So if you see anything that says The Mountain, look at the stitching, look at the tag, look at the thickness of the shirt, and then just do a quick comp check, and you'll be able to see if this one is worth your while. This one I picked up for, I believe it was $2.99. Okay, next up, this is a hockey jersey, but it's a super thin one, so I wouldn't really call it a regular hockey jersey. It was for the Stockton Thunder, which is like a local minor league team, and it was kind of I think a promotional shirt. You can see it says like Auto News 10. News 10 is like a local news station, and it's not your thick, it's a big shirt, but it's not. It's kind of a thinner material. So this one for $25.98. I just got this last week, $2.99. So I love hockey jerseys. They go, a lot of the ones I sell for a lot more than this, but this one I knew wasn't going to go for that because it wasn't a real, I'm not sure if it's a real jersey or promotional jersey. It could be a real jersey, I don't know, but it didn't have that same thickness and quality to the material as the other ones I have All right, next up here is a vintage Mattel Barbie. It's like a tank top, I guess. The back opens up, so it's like a, I don't know if it's a crop top, a tank top. It's really tiny, about 1.5 inches by 2 inches, made for a Barbie doll. Went for $37.58. It is original Barbie. That's a vintage shirt, and I was happy to see this one go because this one's been sitting for a while. But like I said, these accessories, when the right person finds it, they'll buy it, but they do sit. So this isn't something that will sell every day. So be warned. It's good. It's a good pickup for 50 cents or less or $1, but it's not a quick sell at all. And my last one of the day is a Marvel Toy Biz. I believe this is early. No, actually, excuse me, 1998. A figure. This line of Marvel Toy Biz action figures doesn't do as well. This one did well. Storm, this particular figure is one to look out for. Quote unquote BOLO. I hate using that term, but whatever. It sold for $48.38. Had about $1 into this with a big lot of these that I bought. Most of them sell for between 10 and 15 bucks at most. They're very common. They're not the extremely articulated Marvel Legends figures that came out a few, like maybe 2002, 2003. This one, the early to mid 90s Marvel Toy Biz figures are not as highly sought out. I think it's because they're mass produced and they're just not as articulated as the newer, the 2000s, mid 2000s ones. So be careful when you buy those. I would put maybe $1 into this at most, and maybe not even that. I had about 50 cents into this one. And this particular one is one to look out for, but a lot of them are just not worth anything. So be careful. So that is a list of the items that I've sold this week. I hope you enjoyed that. If you do enjoy these videos, please check out Reseller Niche on YouTube, Reseller_Niche on Instagram. I have a show that I do called Just List on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays on YouTube at 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. Pacific with my buddy Leroy, Blood, Sweat, and Sell. So if you'd like to see us talk about stuff, list stuff, or like to list with us, check that out on YouTube. But until the next one, just want to say thank you for being here. And good. See you.
Thanks for listening to the Reseller Niche Podcast. Show notes and social media links are located at resellerniche.com. Please comment, rate, and subscribe to us on iTunes or YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts.